I'm sir, glad to have you with us.
Good morning, Stan. It's great to be here. It's
Well,
beautiful, beautiful time, and a great time to be living here in Dent County. And as I've been saying here for a while, and I say all the time, every time you watch the news a little bit, boy, are you really glad you live? Aren't we glad we live where we live? And I can't think of any place I'd rather live than right here in Dent County.
Yeah, I tell you, it's
And boy, right now the weather's fantastic. It's
gonna be
beautiful.
great for the rodeo and
Fantastic weather for the rodeo coming up. It's a great
stuff.
time to be camping, floating.
Anything, really.
Fishing. I've done a little fishing down at Montauk. The fishing's great. It's
A little
great.
family grill out wouldn't be a bad thing either, would
We
it?
got the Labor Day weekend coming up. So, by the way, the courthouse will be closed Monday
Right.
in observance of Labor Day. So, get out and enjoy the family and do some things and don't labor too hard on Labor Day. We got a little work to do.
Yeah. Well, there's always work to be
we'll-
done.
we'll
I don't care
enjoy it.
what you always have to do.
But anyway,
There's always
lots going on. But
Yes, sir.
anyway,
Yes, there is. Let's just go ahead
as always.
and we'll just go ahead and start things out. And obviously, let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about the one road that District 1 has been working on, and they've been really done a good job of rebuilding that road. It's been closed for a little while. Part of it was closed for a little while, but it's all back open right now. But this is like the second road in about a month and a half that we've had to do a partial rebuild on, and these guys do a tremendous job. That's not an easy task,
Well,
is it?
yeah, they do. They do a real good job, and it's kind of funny how this has worked out because part of one of the components in this building the road up, and it is really building the road up and making it a better road. Of course, you got to have material to put on there to do that. Well, as one of the side benefits of the jail project, of course, when they dug all that out, they had to have some place to go with all that material, so we had room for them to dump it, so they took it all out to the road and bridge shed and dumped it out there in an area. So we have a great pile of high clay content material out there, so it's worked out very well for the road and bridge guys to use this material and haul it out. As you say, this road that they've been working on recently, it was County Road 50, and it's been a joint effort between the two districts. We say District 1, District 2, but when it gets down to a big project, a lot of times if it's a big project, the crews will work together and get
Sure.
those things done. Back a few years ago when we had the derecho hurricane that hit Salem and Dent County, we had massive damage of trees and things down all over, and the crews just worked together. The district lines didn't mean that much then.
Yeah.
Commissioner Larson and Purcell were in each other's districts helping cut. A lot of it was down in District 1 of that. But at any rate, on this deal, this has another been kind of a joint project. The District 2 crew has been helping District 1 crew on this rebuild. They hauled 179 loads of material down to this road to
That's amazing.
get it on there and get it on the road and get it built up. And then then we've been adding a layer of 2-inch rock onto that to give it a
Right.
good hard base. And then we'll finish up with a 1-inch base rock and then added onto that for the driving surface. So been quite a project, along with regular grading that's been
Sure.
going on, and brush cutting, as always, and so forth.
I don't think you can
and-
keep up with brush this year. It
and,
has been a wet year, and I look at my grass.
Yeah,
I cut
I
it
know.
Sunday. It needed to be cut again Wednesday.
I know my yard desperately needs to be cut. If I don't cut it soon, I'll have to do it with a bush.
I
hog or
cut it
something.
last night, and I'm telling you, it was
Yeah.
still wet, and it was thick, and man, not normal for August. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way in Missouri. Usually
Yep,
it's
that's
kind
right.
of brown.
That's right. It was getting a little brown until we got rain started again this week. We had a little dry stretch. And matter of fact, it was just getting dry enough that it was getting difficult to do a decent job grading on the roads. But and they've also got a lot of have replaced several culverts in the roads and some other work like that that's been done too. But yeah, it's been a very pretty nice year for rain. And but I mean, from the farmer side of it, I like it. The grass pastures look good. Hay crop's been relatively good. So
All the ponds are
anyway.
in pretty good shape all year long. And haven't-
Would mention though one while we're talking road and bridge,
Sure.
I'll mention CART,
Okay.
and that's our county aid road trust. We talk about that every month, and those are the dollars from your fuel tax when you buy fuel in the county, or when you buy a vehicle and you pay your sales tax on vehicle purchases and things. So we've been down year to date. For August, for the first time in some time, we were up about $2,900 over August of last year. But still, year to date, we're down considerably. We're down about $24,400 from last year at this same time.
No travel in
So,
March, April, and May. It's kind of showing now, isn't it, Darrell?
Yeah, it is. It is. So Yeah, it's still showing up, and so, but at any rate, so we watch that. But it was good to see it turn around and trending back up a little bit over last year. So, anyway, just wanted to mention that because CART is one of the major sources of revenue for the Road and Bridge Fund. So CART, and then of course our quarter-cent sales tax. Those are the biggies, and of course then the property tax. So that's basically the three of those make up about 90% of the money probably for the Road and Bridge to operate on.
Assessor Jamie Holmeyer brought in a request here a couple of weeks back, actually, to have the opportunity to submit your assessment forms online. And she looked into it and with her software vendor, Clear Basin, and they came back with a 3-year contract, and brought it back to the commission, and the commission was... the 3-year commit, you didn't really want to do that. Wanted to do something a little bit different. She was able to get it renegotiated to a 1-year contract, and there's a setup fee for this. And Darrell, you might want to explain. This is something that, I know the collector went to an online payment system. So, and I mean, this is becoming more and more. And this is trying to keep some of the people that might not need to be in the courthouse out of it if they don't want to be there. But these are things that we're going to see probably more and more of as we go on down to where things may go online a little bit, but this was brought into the commission for their approval on last Monday, I believe it was.
Well, yeah. Originally, it was a proposal for a 3-year contract at $5,000 a year plus a one-time setup fee of $1,500, and it is for you to be able to just go online and fill out your personal property tax list, and that is that list. That every year you're supposed to have it filled out and returned by March the 1st, or there is a penalty. And generally people fill it out and they mail them back or they drop them off.
A lot of times they do that with their payment for their taxes.
A lot of times they do, but you got to, of course, which is because, see, this personal property tax list that you send in is to list property that you have on hand as of January 1st of that year. Right. Now, as you say, I would dare say probably even the majority may actually go ahead in there in December as they're paying their property taxes, fill it out and drop that off at the same time. Now, obviously with the COVID thing, there's different things going on all the time to try to decrease people's need to be having face-to-face contact and so on. And so I get that. And a lot of people are paying their taxes online. Heaven knows everybody seems to be doing everything online. Now, our only concern in this was the fact that it's going to cost $5,000 a year to do what right now doesn't really cost us anything.
Right.
And that money has to come from somewhere. There's, the old saying, there's nothing free in this world, and that's just the way it is. So, but
that's what I keep hearing, but I keep seeing people ask for it.
Yeah, I know. But we can pay for this 1 year here because of the COVID thing. We can make the case to pay for this year's for a 1-year contract for this on this out of the COVID fund. So in that regard, then it's really no cost. So Jamie did appreciate it. She got back with Clear Basin and they agreed to do a 1-year contract on this then for this that will allow us to take care of this year out of the COVID. And we'll reevaluate this next year and see where we're at budget-wise as far as with the office. And it looks like, though, really there's been some decrease in cost in operating the assessor's office, and it looks like there's probably going to be room in that budget to go ahead and do this on an annual. I have no question as far as the convenience of it, because what it isn't just a matter of you can go online. I mean, we're going to have a new website anyway. So our question was, couldn't we do this through the new website? But the deal is, this has got to be so you can pull up your current assessment list and look at it, see if there's any changes to it, additions, whatever, what have you, as far as on the website. So it's a little different deal. So anyway, so we agreed to do this right now on a 1-year basis, and we'll reevaluate it here at budget time as we look at the 2021 budget. And so that's it. So I appreciate the assessor's work on that and working with Clear Basin to get this, and we can pay this out of that COVID fund and really not have any effect at all on the regular the assessor's budget. And of course, I know I'm speaking Greek probably to most people when I'm talking the budget and the funds and all that, but there's the general revenue budget fund, general revenue fund. It's a separate budget, pays for most everything in the courthouse, but the assessor's office actually operates out of its own separate budget. So that's a separate fund. The law enforcement, the sheriff's department, operates out of its own separate fund, LES, Law Enforcement Sales Tax Fund.
Right.
So anyway.
Well, very good. Okay.
So we did approve that, and so folks will have that option available. They'll be getting that set up, and folks will be having that option available to just go online and fill out that assessment as well as.
Was there a date that was going to be completed by? Do you remember seeing that on that contract?
No, I don't think there was right now on that, but it'll be available here this fall.
Before the end of the year, I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
For sure.
All right, very good. So
Yes,
a couple of projects that Commissioner Purcell's been working on, seems like forever, finally kind of came through. What they kind of call them Federal Land Access Programs, or FLAPs, for a couple of different projects. And finally some paperwork came in to be signed that allows the commission to start moving forward on this. But it's been a couple of years in
These
process.
these don't just happen overnight in 1 year. They're kind of a long drawn out process. You have to apply, and then it has to go by the committee. So at any rate, we do have two projects that Commissioner Purcell, as she said, has kind of worked on. One of those is to asphalt the road from Tanvat. If you're ever down at Tanvat and you go up the hill up to catch up with the end of YY Highway. That's a long hill. Maintenance is extremely tough. It's just a challenge always to keep. And to be honest, it gets a lot of traffic.
Yeah, it gets a lot of traffic.
So, and it does access federal lands going down to the Tanbat. That's on the National Scenic Riverway. So it qualifies in that regard. So we did get approval on that to, and I forget how long a stretch that is, but it's a considerable
It's a good
project.
long stretch.
And then the other one is again on up Sinking Creek. From a couple of years ago, we put in a new bridge on Sinking Creek down towards Bunker, and on up from that there was another low water bridge that qualifies under the FLAP program because it is there at the National Forest. So that project qualifies as well. So we'll be looking at a complete bridge to replace a low water crossing structure there, and so comes with the federal dollars to do that, and be very little cost to the county other than some in-kind services, manpower, and so forth. So for the gain we get for what we end up invested of our own dollars, it's pretty good. It's very good. It's just a process, and that'll be
it's time consuming.
that will be a work in progress. Now's just as far as getting the ducks in the row. Now, a lot of the engineering work has already been done. We'll have to select an engineer to go ahead and work on the county side of it. Then, as we can move forward, but it's moving along, and it'll probably be completed next year. Or actually, maybe year after that. We'll see.
It has to be done by June 1st, 2022.
Yeah. So it'll take most of next year and part of 22. Yep. But it's moving along, and we'll get that done.
Sometimes when I talk about dealing with the federal government, it's like they say, like it's trying to wade through tar.
It is. It is. But that's the way. All those flaps. That's just the way they are. It's a very slow, deliberate process and steps to get it done. First is just identifying and get it to look at it, and then the engineering studies that have to be done, and environmental impact statements, and yada yada yada. But we're getting there.
You had made a comment you were going to have to head up to Columbia to talk to the Holiday Inn people about the CCAM meetings, because this year they're going to be virtual and not going to be online. Did that go as you expected, or
no?
No, did not go as you expected.
Did not make it to Columbia.
Oh,
that meeting ended up being canceled. But that they first of all, one of the principals at the Holiday Inn got called away down to the Gulf region to work with some of the hurricane recovery down there. But that's okay. But we were able to visit with the folks concerning the issues. And what it is, we have a contract with them, runs through 2021, and that contract there's a lot of different facets of that contract. And basically, though, if you're going to cancel for a year, then there are penalties. I mean, it's a contract of about $80,000 that we pay for them to host and do it. And if you're going to cancel it, then depending on how far out, there's penalties you have to pay. So we were in negotiation with them to try to get those penalties reduced. What they wanted and what they're offering is if we would extend the contract at least for another year, then they would reduce the penalties for this deal. Now there were other pieces of the contract that we were in negotiation with, and actually, and part of what we run into right now, the city of Columbia has restrictions in place that if we were having to have the training today, we couldn't. we couldn't have it at all. They couldn't house the people and couldn't have the people in the rooms. And
There'd be no penalties.
And there'd be no penalty because of if you have to cancel it because of an act of God or government intervention that doesn't allow it, then there really is no penalty. But now that's as of right now. We can't say what would be happening in February, but we have to be able to plan accordingly to do all this. And so we really can't sit here in September and say, well, we hope we can do it in February. We're going to move forward with some training online and get it done. So at any rate, so that didn't happen. But I do have to, when we get done here, I've got a conference call to get on with the rest of the County Commission Association of Missouri Board, as we'll talk through the options that have been presented to us and see if we can't arrive at a resolution and put this baby to rest. Finally.
Amicable situation.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it is. I mean, they're making concessions, and we are too. But I mean, the fact is, we did have a contract, and you know, we're going to uphold our end of the contract as much as we can. But if in exchange for extending the contract one more year, and you know, hopefully by this time in 2021 and 22, we are back to where we can have our live conference. Because you know, you can say all you want about Zoom and all these things, but there is so much to be gained from those meetings that we have where everybody's there and you can visit out in the hallways one-on-one with one another about problems and issues and things that have happened to them and how they were addressed. One of the most popular parts of the whole thing actually is when all of the third-class counties like Dane County, when we're all in the room and it's just kind of an open microphone and people can just get up and ask questions. Have you ever had to deal with this issue? This issue's come up and this is what happened, and somebody's, and you know, and you know, and invariably some commissioners say, yeah, well, we had that issue, and man, let me tell you, here's what we done, and we wish we hadn't, you know. And then it goes on from there. So I mean, you know, they always say you learn more from your mistakes than you do your successes, and if you can learn from other people's mistakes, that's even way better than learning from your own mistakes. Sure, so anyway, but that's it. But for right now, we're going to be putting together, working on doing the online. And but for right now, we're going to get this issue settled with the Holiday Inn up there. And I mean, they're in a tough position. You know, they're hurting financially as well, and we understand that. And they're willing to work with us, and hopefully we can get this worked out.
You know, one of the things when you start talking exactly what you're talking about with these conferences, you can read people's language when they want to say something or if they disagree. You can just tell by the way they look or maybe frown. You know, as you're looking around the room, you, especially as a presenter or something, you can tell if people are understanding what you're saying or not pretty quick just by the ambiance that they're throwing back at you. And you can't get that by Zoom.
Nope.
You can't get any of that because you don't see it. All you see is the presenter. You can't see if you know, you might be in the crowd and you're confused and you look around and you see everybody else is confused. You know, and those are the kind of things that you just can't get online. But I like what Commissioner Larson said. He goes, I learn more in the hallways sometimes than I do in some of the sessions we're in, because what we learn in the sessions it's not bad, it's good, but when I get outside, they put that into practical how it happened.
Well, many times you can catch the presenter out in the hallway as well. And by then out there, you know, as you've been visiting with some people, some more questions come up you have, and you can catch them after even the session. You catch them out there, say, you know, you mentioned this, but what about if this happens? Well, that's a good question, and here's what happens there. So it's just, you just can't beat one-on-one. I mean, you know, that's just the way it is. And that's the worst part about this whole COVID mess and stuff, that it's reduced us into some distant deal of, you know, and everybody looking at one another with suspicion and so forth and so on. And so at any rate, so at some point we get past that and we get back to taking care of business and getting stuff done. So at any rate, but right now we're gonna be concentrating on putting together. First, we got to be concentrating on having an annual meeting for the Commission Association to get officers reelected, to establish our legislative priorities. The legislature will be meeting again in January like they always do, and hopefully meet more and can be able to conduct business better than they were last year without the interference from the COVID problems. But this 2020 has just been an aberration of about every sort with everything.
So when they say hindsight's 2020, we don't want that to be the case, do we?
Yeah, really. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just glad we've been able to go ahead and conduct our business here as far as at the local level. We have reduced the commission meetings from Mondays and Thursdays. We eliminated the Thursday meetings for the time being and try to get everything done on Monday and just eliminate a lot of traffic and freeze up. I mean, there's times when the courts are trying to have court, and if they're trying to have court on Thursday and we're also trying to have commission meeting, that's just extra
more people,
extra clock in that.
A clog up there at the courthouse.
Yeah, and people.
Absolutely.
So anyway,
very good.
We're working our way through it.
One of the things that the commission had to discuss was you employed the MRPC to take care of your CARES Act review on people who are making CARES Act claims. They did send an addendum to their contract to the commission.
Well, yeah, they did. We did have an addendum on the contract that would allow them to go ahead and bill the counties that are in this. There's several of our counties. Not all the counties are working through MRPC, but most of us are, and it's a contract. And again, it covers all the basic things that they'll charge for. One of them, though, was we all recommended that they get some legal services and legal advice from a lawyer who's looking at this. One of those being Travis Elliott from Ellis Hammonds and Johnson down at Springfield, who serves as the Missouri Association of Counties legal counsel as well. He's been working on the CARES Act funding questions and so forth and issues. So they've been visiting with him, had him actually come up here and visit with us along with an auditor about the different provisions of the CARES Act, but they don't do that for free. No. So anyway, it was just a technical change in the contract that would allow MRPC then to go ahead and bill the counties prorated kind of for legal fees and different things that would come into play on that. So anyway.
But it becomes part of a contract. So
it is part of the contract, yeah. And they are doing a great job of doing that. We did. We had several. We've had several requests then that have come to us after they've gone through the applications.
Kind of lead into that. There have been a lot of requests.
We just this past Monday approved 5 more CARES Act COVID fund coming out of what we call the COVID fund request, and there were 5 of those. One of them. From R2 School for $2,365. Ozark Dental, that's from a small business for $20,000. R4 School, $33,831. Salem Memorial District Hospital. Now this is a pre-approval for equipment and so forth, but $53,768. And then Dent County Health Department, $7,831.67. So those are coming in pretty much about every week from the various entities. So,
but not too much from businesses yet. I know that we've talked about that. We haven't seen too much.
I know some businesses that are still working on putting those applications
and they
together.
have till December.
December 10th, I believe, is our cutoff on those because that allows them some time to get the application because the funds have to be expended by December 30th. So couldn't very well get an application on the 29th and determine what all's right or what's not quite right in the application, and get that then turned around and approved in the dollars. And
if you're missing something, you'll get nothing.
Yeah, so that way, if they got to be in by December 10th, that gives them some time to look over that application and get some clarification if there needs to be, and get those approved and get it done. So, but they are coming in.
Very, very good. Okay, I know Angie Curley, our Dane County Clerk, had to attend her annual County Clerk Election Authorities Conference. She always comes back with some good information out of there. We do want to know that you can still register to vote for that November election.
Let's see. I believe that's October 7th. That's the last day to register to vote, and for the November 3rd general election. And absentee voting will begin on September the 22nd.
Doesn't seem possible already.
Does not seem possible.
And
no.
I heard that South Carolina mailed out their mail-outs today. 600,000 of them. I don't get that one, but anyway, that's what they're going to do. They're going to mail them all out. So.
Yep. Well, I hope it works.
Now, if you want a mail-out ballot, you can get one,
Yes.
but you can't get it yet here in Missouri. But you do need to contact Angie, and there's there are still some conditions about that. So,
Yeah.
but with COVID-19, there are the opportunity for you to get a mail-out ballot. You can do that. And so if you want to find out more about that, call our office, and they give you all the details.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There are provisions for that here, especially and as part of the absentee ballot process and as part of the COVID, some separate provisions as far as COVID related on getting a ballot mailed to you and so on. So, yeah. So anyway, so
Very good. Very good.
about to get another election behind us. It's hard to believe. I will mention we
Sure.
took some bids on some things.
Yes, you did.
The county took bids for fuel. I believe it was diesel fuel. I'm not 100% certain on that.
Diesel.
I will mention, we're talking about COVID. I did miss one meeting here on the 24th of August, and I'll give some folks some background on that, why I wasn't just goofing off. But I got a phone call from the health department director, Kendra Mowbray, and on a Friday, and she said, "I understand you attended a funeral." Now, my first is that right? And my first inclination was to say, well, maybe. Why? But anyway, but no, I did attend a funeral, and it turned out that somebody at that particular funeral had been sick and tested positive for COVID. So at any rate, so I didn't have any personal contact with the individual, and not at all. And so I actually was not quarantined myself. However, and I'll be honest, I'm really not all that worried about it as far as the COVID itself. However, if I was to then somehow test positive and be at the courthouse and be in contact with everybody there, then it would create a whole separate big issue for the courthouse. So I thought, well, I don't want to be the one to bring it and cause the courthouse to have to shut down for a couple of weeks. So I
Right.
skipped that meeting, and I was advised to just kind of watch and monitor, if I was sick. So I had plenty of things to do that I could do that week without being in contact with very many people and so on.
And you were
So,
still on a
anyway.
conference call with them for closed session later that day.
Yes, we did have a short closed session in regards to a real estate issue, and so I was on a conference call on that and in touch. So so I wasn't there that day. So and that's just things that I think people are having to do all over the country just to try to make sure that they don't somehow negatively impact something else. As far as am I worried about being somewhere and contracting it and all that? No, not really. I worry about as much about the common flu, shingles, and various other maladies as I do about this thing. But that's just the nature of the beast right now. So at any rate, though, but on that particular day, they did approve fuel bids.
They did.
And I wasn't there, but I know what the amounts were, and I know County Fuels got it, and I'm pretty sure it was for diesel fuel.
It was.
That they approved that day for $1.33. And so I appreciate everybody's bidding. And first one gets it one time, and another gets it another time. But did approve that bid. And then we also here put out bids for propane. And I believe that was the same day maybe that they
It was
approved
the same
that. That we got bids back for propane for the courthouse for the winter, and Chilton Oil here in town got the bid for the propane for this coming year at $1.09, and so it was good to get those things done.
There you go.
So
You have something else that you have? Because I don't really have anything else.
no, although I do want to give congratulations and best wishes to Judy Apperson as she retired again. She's retired from different things. Judy's a worker, and she's always in things. But Judy retired from the community center at the Armory. This past Monday was her last day. And always appreciate Judy and all the work she does, and wish her all the very best in her retirement. I know she's got some plans and places to go and things to do and people to
Neat
see.
lady.
And
Yeah,
neat lady.
lady.
So thank you, Judy, for everything you've done and do, and enjoy retirement. So anyway, and other than that, tomorrow and Sunday, as we said, are the Chamber of Commerce Rodeo. The weather forecast sounds fantastic. I think you can still buy tickets.
You can. Advance tickets are still available. All the banks except U.S. Bank, and also Chamber of Commerce office, the Visitor Center. Out
They're a
there
little
at the
cheaper if you
Crossroads.
buy the advance tickets.
Yep, they're $8 for adults, $4 for children in advance, $10 at the gate. So save yourself 20%.
The weather forecast sounds great. Grab your lawn chairs and come on out. And,
Going to be a lot of people in this rodeo, Darrell, because they haven't had many rodeos at all this year.
Yep.
Just anywhere. Talk to Lance. This is their third this year. Normally, this is like their 24th. This
rodeo
is their
starts at
third.
7:30, right?
7:30 each night.
Yep. So plan on getting out there by 7 or so, have time
Yeah,
to
you
park.
got the vendors, walk around, grab something to eat. And
You know what? To me, there's nothing better than a hamburger or cheeseburger or hot dog or something out there when you're sitting out like that and eating.
out in the open air too.
Yep,
and-
yep. It's kind of like eating burgers out when you're camping and stuff.
Just kind of remember a little social distancing. If
Mm-hmm.
you're going to take your own lawn chairs, and we do recommend you take your lawn chairs, you can set up where you want, or you can sit in the bleachers, but just don't sit on top.
I was hoping they'd have the mechanical bull set up again this year. I rode the
have that.
mechanical bull they had set up a couple of years ago, but guess that didn't work out. But that's okay. Maybe next time. So I've got some grandsons coming up, and I'm going to put them on one of them mechanical bulls and watch them fly sometime. Anyway, no.
But it should be again. Want to thank everybody with the chamber and of course Outlaw Rodeo Productions. You know, this has been such a crazy year, and nobody really knew anything. But
Yeah.
you know, I want to give a lot of credit for our area people here that where other rodeos got canceled, they're going to hold this one. And
Fantastic.
again, they're
I'm
asking
glad to
you
see it.
to please cooperate.
And I understand Saturday evening they'll start off with a salute to our veterans.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's great. Did I hear some input from outside about the salute to veterans?
Who knows?
Oh, okay. I thought we were getting
From
some
the
input.
peanut gallery.
I thought we were getting some input from the peanut gallery on.
For the peanut gallery says both nights.
Oh,
Both
both
nights.
nights. Okay.
Yep. We'll have veterans there both nights.
They're going to have
We
the
wanna
salute to the
pay our
veterans both
respects to
nights.
them.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Thank you from the peanut.
why
Thank
we
you
get
to the
to-
peanut
Yeah,
gallery.
that's why we get to do what we want to do.
There
You never
go.
know where you'll get your information on this
That's
show.
exactly on this.
That's
Never.
right.
No, you don't. You know?
Anyway, come out and enjoy the rodeo. It'll be a great time.
Absolutely.
And otherwise, it's going to be a great time to get out and get around Dent County and,
Right.
do things. So
And again, one last reminder: courthouse will be closed on Monday for Labor Day.
that's right. It will be closed
So
Monday.
no
for
commissioner
Labor Day.
meeting on Monday.
So,
All right, very good.
anyway, Stan, I believe that catches me up.
Well, Darrell, as always, we appreciate you coming in, spending some time with us. Darrell does pay for this program out of his pocket. There are no tax dollars, county funds, sales tax, money, anything that goes into this. This all comes out of his pocket.
Wrote a check this morning. It was my last check. So
Until we do it again.
I have no. It's my last check. No money now. Yeah, no. I do appreciate the opportunity, Stan, and hope folks enjoy the program and learn a few more things than they might have gotten otherwise or heard. So anyway, we will be back here then about what, the 18th, something like that.
Well, no. It's 18th.
Be the
Yeah.
18th.
I mean, it's hard to believe it's September.
It
Darrell.
is. It's crazy this
It's
year.
hard to believe. I always fear Labor
As
Day.
painful as 2020 has been,
Yeah.
it is speeding by.
You know, every time I think of Labor Day, though, I don't think of Labor Day like being on the 7th of September. I always feel like it's on the 2nd or
Yeah.
3rd of September, and this
Right.
one's a late one. Matter of fact, when I talked to Lance McCullum, the normal guy who does the announcing, they did the same thing. They thought it was the next week, the first weekend.
Yeah.
This weekend, or last weekend. So, oops, it didn't work out so initially. And so when he booked something, they're gonna have some different announcers this year. Should be a lot of fun. These guys are the MRCA championship announcers, so this should be a lot of fun.
Good,
So we got to have
good.
2 of them coming in, so have a lot of fun with that. But
Also want to wish the Salem Tigers good luck tonight down at St. Clair.
gonna
This
be
is
a tough-
this is a
be a
big
tough
challenge
game,
for them.
yeah.
That team was up there in the final, kind of in the top tier in the state last year, and it'll be a real test for them. They done well last week, and congratulations to Lane Howard, and thanks Lane Howard for filling in here as interim football coach and picking up that slack. And the boys have responded real well, and this will be a good challenge for them, and it's good for them to get this game right in front of them right now, after they had such a big win last week. Well, this one might bring them down to earth a little bit, and get them a little better prepared for the SCA games coming up. So
well,
anyway,
St.
but-
Clair won last week, 41-0 over Perryville, and
Yeah.
but they did lose their top-notch running back last year. And when talking to Lane this morning, he said they kept it pretty simple. But here's the interesting thing about St. Clair. Both Joe and Bill Schuchart coached them for the last 2 years until this year when Joe moved back toward the Raleigh area. So they have a lot of the Salem technique of running the ball. He said that last week they threw no passes. Well, we're used to seeing that
Yeah.
years ago. So it'll be interesting, Darrell. It'll be interesting to see
And then next week, I believe they have Houston here.
They have Houston
So
here.
That'll be a fun deal. So anyway,
Yeah,
a lot of things going on. Hope folks will get out and enjoy it. And it's just a good time to be living right here in Salem and Dent County. You know, we have our little problem, this and that, and these things, but we can always work through them. But I'm going to tell you, when you watch the news, you got to be glad you live right here.
Yeah, it's something else to watch the news and get to hear all the experts tell you how.
And by the way, if you
There we are.
haven't done your census, completed your census yet, please do that, folks. It's
You
very
have to
important.
do it by the 30th, by the way.
It's very important that we get those in and that we get everybody counted and that we not run the risk of losing representation, because it does affect representation in Congress and so on. And as I've said before, you know, that New York and California bunch, they're crazy, and we don't want them to have more representation than they already got compared to us. So let's get those census all filled out and sent back.
Yeah. Again, they have to be have to be filled out by the 30th
So-
of this month. Very good.
All righty.
Darrell, well,
We'll
thank
be
you
back
very
the
much.
18th. Thank you, Stan. And until we're back here, I do hope everyone will be safe, happy, healthy. God bless each and every one of you. And we leave you with this.